Good morning, Dakota Ridge. I'm Anna Jankovic.
And I'm Elena Vukovic, and here is your Ridge Review.
It's November, and you know what that means, the DRHS Fall Play, and we've got a quick preview of what you can expect from Steel Magnolias.
I cannot believe I'm getting so worked up over something as silly as a haircut.
Look, Precious.
Okay, I'm ready. Gosh, it's so weird.
Clary, how many tomatoes do you want? Tomatoes have no calories and are full of things.
Marshall felt so much as a hello says, Mama and Dad, I have something to tell you. I have a brain tumor and I have 3 months to live. Well, naturally, Belle became hysterical. Then Marshall says, hey folks, I'm just kidding, I'm only gay. Yeah?
Joey, what have you done to yourself? It doesn't hurt. What have you been doing? Have you seen this one?
Yes, I have. Doctor's just been trying to string my veins. They're in terrible shape.
Are you crazy here? Are you high? Clary, you lost your mind.
Wait, it's so picture. I didn't work out.
Come see it on November 10th and 12th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Dakota Ridge Auditorium. You can buy your ticket online for $8. The understudy cast will be performing November 11th.
Along with the new play, we've also got a new Keller Yeller. Here's what Ms. Keller wants you to know this month.
Hi, Eagles. It's Mrs. Keller here, ready for another edition of Keller's Yeller. Have a couple of things to want to remind you all upcoming events. Our marching band goes to state competition down at the Air Force Academy on October 28th and 29th. Go Marching Eagles. We're having a canned food drive the week of November 7th through the 16th. We are going to be hitting the end of our second 6-week grading period. What does that mean? It means that you've got about 9 more weeks to hunker down and look at those grades. Think about if you're happy where they are, if you need to pick it up a little bit, if you need to refocus, if you need to get into AE and talk to your teachers and get some help. That would be a great idea. So you would have about a third of the semester left. You guys are doing absolutely awesome this year. Keep it up. Remember that you are Eagles, and when you are out in the community, you are basically the model for who we are as a school. So always, always be the best you can be. And I hope you guys all are doing great. Study hard, have fun. We're wrapping up fall sports and getting ready for winter sports, fall activities, getting ready for winter activities. And remember, all Eagles, all family.
Also on our minds this month is one of the most important days of the year, Veterans Day. We asked some of you about what that means to you.
Do you have any relatives who are veterans?
I do. I have 2. You have a uncle in the military, is that correct?
Yeah. He's stationed in Germany. I think it's Frankfurt.
The most prolific story that would really happen to me was that he flew from his base in the Carolinas to an Iowa Hawkeye football game.
He's an orthodontist for the Air Force.
It was my dad and my grandfather.
What did they do?
My dad was in training for 3 years, but he flunked out because ew. And my grandfather is a Vietnam vet, and he served his time in Nam in 1967 through 1970 something.
So after the football game, I went back and got to sit in the F-15 and watch them take off and fly back. So there was good taxpayer dollars right there.
Every day I wonder, could Vietnam have killed him? Probably.
My grandpa, he's a very nice man. He helped me a lot when I was little. He's probably one of my favorite family members.
Our Veterans Day Assembly takes place this Friday. Be sure to check the modified schedule for that day. And as we near the end of the semester, many students begin considering a different path for the next year. Career Explorer is one of those options.
So Career Explorer is a program for seniors at the moment. We would like to get it to lower levels, but it's for students who really, high school is not their thing, and maybe going into the workforce would be better. And so we try and give them some of the skills to go get jobs, internships, and so on.
Career Explorer is a program that allows you to explore different career paths and kind of try them out to get an idea of what you might want to do later on or after high school, and it gives you the training and the education that you need to pursue that.
I teach Career Explorer. I've done that since its beginning, and I've been at the school 24 years, and I teach forensic science now and marine science. The benefit is we get students who really it's not that they don't have good grades or anything, it's get them out of the school setting because they don't do well here. And we send them out to training. For instance, our construction goes up to Home Builders Academy up at I-25 and 70 a couple times a week, and they get training. And then second semester, we put them into internships, and it's paid. So they get money a couple days a week by working, and hopefully they get a job at the end of the program. You know, it's a program that initially had a bad name because it was supposed to be for all those screw-ups type kids. And that's not really the case. It's for kids who high school is not the pathway for them. Maybe they're going to go to college, but maybe like 2 years from now, or they're going to go to a junior college, they're going to get some certificates from our program that they can use to get better pay in the jobs that they get. So we're hoping to train them with skills and get them out of here with real-world jobs.
And finally, Ms. Buchanan's IB class has been working on PSAs. Those students wanted to address the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and femicide, and how although that may not be visible in our school, it is important to be aware of what is going on.
Through the recent studies of Carrie by Tony Jensen and There by Tommy Orange, students became aware of violence in Indigenous communities and wanted to share their awareness with the school. Let's take a look at their finished product.
Trigger warning. The following PSA includes references to violence and murder that may be triggering to some viewers.
This is the result of anger of mass femicide happening in Mexico. Femicide is the intentional murder of women simply because they are women. This crime is often committed by their intimate partners or people that are significant in their lives.
Over the past 5 years, femicides in Mexico have increased by 137%. The National Citizen Femicide Observatory says at least 6 women are targeted and killed every day in Mexico.
The cause of femicide in Mexico is vast, but we can begin to explain it with many of the problems facing women in Mexico. There are high rates of human trafficking, gang violence, and an underlying machismo culture, which is the presence of strong and masculine pride. However, machismo is unfortunately most commonly used to excuse the issue of femicide socially.
There are many issues for the victims of femicide to find justice. Law enforcement never spends very much time on femicide cases because they are so prevalent, and there are a number of language barriers in the way of finding justice for Indigenous women in Mexico. Around 14% of the Indigenous people in Mexico do not speak Spanish, so they cannot access any law enforcement help or resources that may have been provided to them.
One unfortunate example of the tragedy of femicide is a 7-year-old girl named Fatima. She was found murdered in the south of Mexico City. Her death brought much anger out of the community because Fatima's relatives feel that law enforcement didn't handle her disappearance properly and she needed to be respected more. This shows that femicide can happen to anyone, even a child.
Another victim of femicide lived in Juarez. Her name was Isabel Cabanillas. Isabel was an activist concerned about gender-based violence and femicide in Mexico. Her murder was seen as an action against activism and sparked a wave of protests across Mexico City.
This formed a rich and strong movement in Mexico. The women from Hermosillo of Sonora in Mexico went on a march against the Mexican Supreme Court because of the increasing rate of femicide.
The women were tired of being sexualized wherever they went, and having their friends, daughters, sisters, aunts, and mothers raped and killed. They had enough of the government mocking their concerns.
It is important to remember that Mexico is so much bigger than the problems it faces. Mexico has a rich and diverse culture that is so different from the stereotypes commonly associated with it. And despite the magnitude of violence against women in Mexico, there is still hope to fix the problem and make Mexico a better place for not only women to live and thrive, but for everyone.
Although we are mostly referencing Mexico, femicide is an issue all around the world. Countries such as Ukraine, Bosnia, Canada, and the United States also have femicide cases and are working to fight against the major issue for women across the world. It is important to take the time to educate yourself on issues such as femicide in order to make the world a safer place for men and women alike.
Well, that's all, Eagles. For more D-Ridge news, check out the Cord News website and
keep swagging, D-Ridge.